Good morning to everyone and welcome. I am just organizing this for the sake of it, just to help you feel confident a bit more in what you are about doing in the course, your final exam, worth 50%. The focus is to help you feel confident. That's all. So it's a revision that is not an obligation for anyone, not for myself or for any colleague of mine, not for the students if they feel it's okay, but it's just to help out if someone feels that they need a little bit more mopping up to feel that confident. Okay, so I looked into my schedules and I thought that I could squeeze out some few hours in the course of the week. So we'll do this. Hopefully, I'm able to do same tomorrow morning. I'm actually invigilating the whole week. We just got a free morning, yeah, and I thought that I could squeeze it in. During revision week, it's not so proper to be engaging the student the revision week. The university doesn't want us doing that. There's a reason. It makes the student feel inadequate. By revision week, whatever contact you should be having with the lecturer should be done. That is it. So that the student can now mop up, like the way you leave the stew to simmer when it's all done. You allow the thing, so you are breaking the car. The guys, you take your time to slowly park. If you park at once, the car may jolt or skid off the road, sort of. Okay, so the same thing. When you are finishing the semester, you allow things to settle. So it doesn't have to be another engagement. Okay, and so have that in mind. It's just to mop up. Then you set into your revision week. Main campus in College of Health Science students are writing today, your final exam today and tomorrow. D.E you do yours later. Okay, I think you always do it a week or so after hours, sometime after main campus. So your exam is scheduled for 28 April. That's what I've seen on the timetable that was circulated, the final timetable. You just have to be conscious of it. It could change. Normally it doesn't when it is the final timetable, but if there are clashes, it could change. So you have to look out for notices all the time. On your course site, you'll see that those notices come from your unit. There's a representative of your unit on our course site because of the varied nature of this course. This course is not like your info studies or your psycho, which is departmentalized. This one is university-wide, so it addresses all students of the first year for this first semester. All of you, I mean, to a large extent, should be doing their course. Okay, and so notices that will be coming. You will see the name that comes is oftentimes that you see Mr. Kasapa. He's speaking from your unit, but he's on our course site because the notice goes to all fresh students of DE who are expected to be taking UGRC150. When it happens that way, then you know that it is a formal communication from your unit to all of you. So timetable, exam, the provisional one came, then I saw the final one. I also was copied because I'm on the site as well. The point is, so as we speak now, we all know that your final exam is on the 28th of April. I'm talking to distance education students, the DE folks amongst you who are on main campus core site or I say core site, apologies, on main campus WhatsApp platforms or whatever those study groups. You will send emails and frustrate yourself and everybody else with it, including myself. So please, he said the IAs have been released. I did it, but I can't find my result. I will go through the person's email over and over again. Where are you looking? I released all result. Back and we'll keep going back and forth until I ask what campus do you belong to? Because sometimes I'll go to the course sites and I don't see the person there. I don't know what the issue is, that the person cannot see their result because I don't have any outstanding for main campus and College of Health Science because they did the course, they started before you did. How come the person is looking for results? He said, but you sent a notice. I said, which notice? Did you read this on your course site or someone told you? Or you were on a certain WhatsApp platform or some over-exuberant politician, student politician looking for following? It's telling you things. And you are coming to frustrate me for that. And so after some back and forth, the person will realize that, so I asked, go and copy the announcement at your course site that told you that results have been released for distance education. Go and copy it and paste and let me look at it. Then the person says, oh, Doc, please, because there is no announcement to that. I said, so why are you frustrating me? I haven't told you that we have released the result. I'm saying this as a scenario to help you. If you don't, at this latter part of your academic work in the course, you have to rely, at least for this course, that's how we work. Okay. And I've explained why. Rely on information that is coming to you from your course site. If it is so challenging, maybe because of the international network challenge we had, we'll see that we make the effort to get to you. We here referring to the teaching team, and I'm working to coordinate all that. So we make an effort at reaching the student. So you will receive authentic information. When I tell Maxwell, please can you keep your thing muted? Thank you. When I send a notice on the course site, of course, on behalf of the team, and I tell you that so and so, campus, what do you call it, center, go to your specific center. That's the reason why I'm telling you that. If you do otherwise, you are losing marks. There isn't much anybody can do. Not myself, not your unit, not yourself. It is a system, okay? So I want you to kindly have that in mind. That was just by the way as a point of view. So I'm here to take your questions. I'm addressing distance education students. You can't be a main campus student and be sitting here asking for explanation for something. Your course site is blocked. If you are a main campus student, you skip to here, no problem, because exam is ongoing. So right now you will see your resources to, you will see assignment, you will see it. It's just like what happens when you are at the exam hall physically. Okay, the exam is in batches. So if batch A is inside and batch B is coming, you can't have the course site open to where you can see, you can send email, you can do that. You know what that would mean? I would send an email to my colleague and say, look at question 4, help me, or this is the question I got, can you answer? And that can go. So all those things are taking off when you're writing either interim assessment or final exam. They are all blocked. You only see the test and quizzes, and then sometimes I leave the announcement too also, so that if there is a prompt, you can get it, okay? So D, I'm taking questions and I'm projecting the unit 10. So I'm going backwards. The most recent content you would have engaged would be the unit 10. What does it tell you? It discusses informal fallacies generally, okay? And we know what fallacies are. So we know that this unit tells us how we shouldn't reason. Okay, I'm summarizing that. So this is the slide I'm summarizing like that to help your revision. How we shouldn't reason. Reasoning means giving evidence or grounds to support claims you are making. This unit 10, informal fallacies, rhetorical ploys, and polemical tricks, only tells you that don't reason this way. What is this way that you are being cautioned not to reason? Don't reason by manipulation. Don't manipulate people into accepting or rejecting a view, a position. Don't use manipulation. And the manipulation could be language, the way you're using language, or it could be the diversion of our attention from the matter to something else in the bid to psychologically induce us to accept the view without rational basis. Don't do that, says this unit. That's all that the unit is saying, okay? So you either manipulate for people to dissent, and you do the manipulation in various ways, like I explained, or you do a psychological inducement. Both are not accepted. So I like to say both are illegal in reasoning. Okay, and so the unit 10 shows you that that's the whole thing. Now, the lot of talk there was just to show you the various ways that such fallacies, such errors in reasoning present themselves. Sometimes it is a deviation from the form. Look on your screen, please. From the form that you should obey because of the nature of this course you are engaged in. See that? So we saw that in unit 6, where we have patterns or forms or structures They are coded patterns, the way you should do things. Like, if A happens, then B must follow. A has happened, therefore we expect B to follow. That is deduction, and a valid one, modus ponens. So the rule expects you to deduce in a certain way. If you go contrary to it, we'll call it out. We'll flag you red and say that is a fallacy. But that fallacy is a special type, the one we call a formal fallacy, a deviation from the form, an error of the form. Okay. Now, we quickly tell you in this unit that that is not what is happening in unit 10. We are calling out another type of fallacy, not a formal one. This one is informal because it is a matter of, back to that slide, watch. It is a matter of a manipulation or a psychological inducement that is not rationally grounded, that is not logically grounded. You aren't giving us reasons or premises that you can use rational, objective assessment to accept or reject. You are only manipulating us, or you are psychologically inducing us. And so they are informal in nature. Remember that also. Then we went through the specific groupings of such informal fallacies. And we saw those that have to do with relevance and those that have to do with weakness in the induction. You are inducing, but the premises you are offering are weak. They're not strong enough to do what you want them to do. Hasty generalization is there. From few instances, you talk about the whole, you generalize. Misplaced vividness, you can find it there. The brother of hasty generalization is also there. One of the ones you can call weak induction. The fallacies of relevance, the first group up there, divert our attention. Remember, I explained manipulation or psychological inducement. You do it two ways, or if you like, either by playing on the language or you divert our attention to something else to convince us, when in fact you haven't given us rational basis. Okay, and so I am showing you that fallacies of relevance play on us. How? By diverting attention. So we call them fallacies that change the subject. They draw your attention away from the issue itself, which is where your focus should be. But they divert your attention from there to either the number of people following it. That will make it which kind of fallacy. If I diverted your attention, I want your chorus answer now. If I diverted your attention from the issue to the number of people following it, which fallacy would that be? Chorus answer, please.
Appeal to the masses.
Very good. Appeal to the masses. It has several other names. I'm sure you know them. Appeal to the people, appeal to consensus. But that is appealing to them. Yes, to the people. Well done. What about if I diverted your attention from the issue to the person speaking? Which fallacy would that be?
Appeal to authority.
Okay, to the, well, my preamble was ambiguous. That is why your answer is like that. Let me explain. So instead of giving you reasons, I use circumstances or personal matters about the speaker to distract you into accepting something. Which fallacy would that be?
Appeal to pity.
Appeal to pity.
Appeal to pity.
Appeal to pity.
I didn't say the emotions, or I didn't talk about emotions or anything. I said leave the issue and focus on personal matters about the person. The person speaking is not the focus. Ad hominem. Very good. That's the answer. Okay. So I have diverted your attention from the issue to the person. Argumentum ad hominem. They are all fallacies of relevance. Let's go there and see. We'll not do it again. Just let your eyes see it. Ad hominem. Oh, don't use microphone like Emmanuel is saying. And I said, oh, but why? So by Emmanuel, he thinks that he can push everybody around. Why? If you have a Benz and you take larger salary than everybody, does it mean that in class 2, when we are talking about a microphone, we should listen to you? Oh, that is the problem. It is diversionary. You are now telling us things about the person irrelevant to the discussion. It's diversionary. So this one is ad hominem. And where you use detracting, negative things about him, which of the ad hominems would that be to dissuade us from supporting him? Which of the ad hominems would that be? Try and give a cause, try and respond. Take it as if you were seated by the exam paper, and this is the question in front of you. You will have to respond. The better you should start doing it, so that it will be a skill. Which ad hominem would that be? There are two types of the ad hominems.
This logistic.
Very good. This would be the dyslogistic one, because it is saying negative things about the person. He's too short, so he cannot be president, for example. That is very diversionary. What has the height of a person got to do with being president or not in Ghana? You see, so it is detracting. You use something, you say, oh, this person, he was even his wife left him. How can he say that he's going to be the so and so and so? And then the issue itself has nothing to do with managing a home or taking care of a husband or a wife or anything. It might just be about whether we should buy a certain brand of a car for the company or not. The person is an expert in his field, and he's proposing that we use this brand rather instead of that brand. Then a compatriot on the team says, no, I don't think we should listen to Asimisi. What is your reason? He said, but his wife left me yesterday. This guy, he was drunk yesterday. We are talking matters, then he was coming to see some. You see that? He might have been a drunk. His wife may have left him. What has it got to do with the expertise he's offering about which brand of a car or a bus the company should buy to run? You see that? That's detracting ad hominem dyslogistic. Okay. Then where you eulogize the person, you use positive things about the person, and you praise him and what have you, in the bid to convince us to accept a view. It is still diversionary, like we learned. Okay. Except that this diversion is aimed at making us accept the person without rational, objective assessment. It's still diversionary is part of the fallacies of relevance. All right, the fallacies have changed the subject, and so we call it ad hominem geologistic. Okay, so you have revised with me yourself, appealing to masses, ad hominem. What about if instead of giving rational grounds, I invoke your feelings of, now if I mention emotions, when I'm emotional, I use feelings, whether for myself or I invoke it in you to convince you to accept a certain view. Which fallacy would that be? It's still fallacy of relevance, but which specific fallacy would that be? I want a uniform answer.
Appeal to pity.
Very good. Give me a minute. Okay, great. Appeal to pity. Very good. So I could go on and on. What if instead of giving you reasons, I show you the consequences? Not I just show you. I use the consequences of your not obeying me to tell you why you should obey me. It's a difference between pointing you to the
appeal to force.
You are all correct. Very good. So if someone cancels the answer appeal to threat and go and write appeal to force, then you see that confusion. If you because appealing to threat is the same as appealing to force, which is the same as argumentum ad baculum. They're the same. In fact, appeal to consequences is the same thing. It's also called scare tactics. So I was trying to explain. Sometimes people get confused when it is in a passive form. The consequences itself is not the issue if I show you the consequences. The problem is if I use the consequences as my trump card, as my reason why you should obey. That is not good. That one is the threat that we have talked about. It's still diversionary, so it belongs to fallacy of relevance. Apart from those ones, which other ones will you call fallacies of relevance? We have done masses, ad hominem, both logistic and dyslogistic. We've done pity, we just did threat. Can you add a few left? Then we are done with unit 10. I want to call
unqualified polity.
Very good. Unqualified authority. Appeal to what?
Misplaced
unqualified authority
vividness.
is correct.
Misplaced
Misplaced
vividness.
vividness, well, yes, to an extent, but misplaced vividness is one of the instances I think you could place under both offended.
Weak induction, fallacy of weak
Very
induction.
good, weak induction. I would think of it more as a fallacy of weak induction than of relevance. And the reason is because, yes, there is an instance that supports my generalization. I've had one situation where the golf thing. Okay, so let's go to that one for you to remember the examples we dealt with. I have had one situation with the golf, and it wasn't pleasant. This one, the woman that says, I'm giving up sports now. And then Bill says, hey, how did you do that? Do you remember Charles? He was playing golf when he got hit by a golf cart and blah, blah, blah. So maybe a golf party. I won't advise you to go. I'd rather go to paragliding. Now, there is one instance from his own example that supports his claim that the person played golf and it led to what he believes is an unfortunate situation. Okay. So there is an evidence, so to speak, but the concern is that we feel that the evidence is overblown. The emphasis is even misplaced because you could play golf and not get hit by a golf cart. It could be that the person put the golf cart at the wrong place. But now the person is blaming the sport called golf for the problem. So there is one evidence, except that it is not enough. The same with, look, the RLG example, I'm sure we read it during our sessions. Okay, the RLG one. Bill is pointing out one instance where his friend bought that kind of a laptop and it led to all the unfortunate situation that finally led him to go fruit selling. So there is one evidence, maybe even two, but we call out the problem. The problem we see is that that evidence or those few instances are not enough to support his claim that all RLG laptops are problematic. Therefore, the sister should not buy that. Okay. So here we see that there's a connection, there's a relevance between the evidence given and the conclusion drawn, except that the evidence is weak. It is not strong enough to support that conclusion. That is why we may want to think of misplaced vividness and hasty generalization as part of the second set. When you raise your hand, don't forget to keep it up. If you think you will forget your question, make a note of it. I'll take all. Okay. So I think that misplaced vividness and hasty generalization belong together, and the weak induction, the second group. Okay. Now, which other one? Let's finish with the fallacies of relevance quickly. So we know unqualified authority. The person is an authority, but not qualified in the field in question. And yet you are appealing to him or her as the expert reference to make a claim in a field that the person's expertise doesn't cover. We call it as a problem. You're diverting our attention. You want us to be awed by the person's authority that he or she rules. We respect that, but please, she is a great caterer, an expert chef. We respect that when it comes to food and displaying food and making sure it's nutritious or whatever, no problem. We can rely on that. But when we are talking economy, or if you like, astronomists, astrologers, and if you like, natural scientists are debating angles and whether it is a lunar eclipse or a solar one, what have you. Don't go and appeal to even my auntie, who is a professor in catering or nutrition, tells me that eclipse will not happen on the 8th. She says it won't even happen at all. Or it doesn't, blah, blah, blah. We will all look at it and say, we respect the expertise of that professor you appeal to, or that great man, the politician, the lecturer, whoever. That's authority. We respect it, but this one no be in area. That's the issue. Okay, it's unqualified authority. We can't forget that. Very good. Then the last one, I think you can also call genetic fallacy, a fallacy of relevance. It's also diversionary. Okay, so we know the fallacies of relevance, it just revised hasty generalization and co as weak induction. The third categorization of fallacies have to do with data. So look at the name again, and then we'll go to the specific ones. The third one, we call them fallacies that manipulate language or data. Where is it? Yeah. So that is it. Fallacies that manipulate language. And obviously, here I don't work myself up at all. What are the fallacies that you can quickly lay hands on as manipulating language? Let's do that first, then we can look at those that manipulate statistics. I want a cross answer.
Pseudo precision.
Equivocation.
Equivocation and begging the question.
Begging the question.
So equivocation and secularity stand out without any ambiguity. What you want to cite them as what? Fallacies that manipulate language. You see that language. But also closely related to that are fallacies that manipulate the statistics or the data. Okay, my colleague presents them together, but you see how I can do the demarcation. That the fallacies that manipulate language, they have to do with the use of language, how you are using language, not necessarily how you are using mathematics or statistics or data. Okay, so clearly, secularity and equivocation, you can put them into manipulation of language, but then closely related to that, you can have pseudo precision, the other one, semi-attached figure, and co. Those ones you can call them fallacies that are manipulating. They are playing on something else. It's not the language. They're playing on what? The figures, mathematics. Okay, and so just a quick reminder of that. You realize that for pseudo precision, the speaker is presenting a false image of what being precise about the subject matter being discussed. Okay, how do you know that it is a false precision? Look on my screen, I've projected. How do you know that it's a false precision? You know it because when you check, you notice that whatever it is that a person is using mathematical figure or statistics, 20.99%, 60.2% to qualify. Whatever it is, that concept, that word, that term cannot be precise. It is vague. So we've studied vagueness. It doesn't have specific, determinate, unambiguous meaning. The meaning is open-ended. It can mean several things to several people, and they are all legitimately acceptable. Therefore, it doesn't lend itself, that concept doesn't even lend itself to an objective, measurable, outcome. Yet, this person speaking, whom we are saying is committing pseudo precision, has done what? He's making us think that he or she has even measured it, that concept, and come to what? A certain precise outcome. That is what we call out. You say, oh, Mali, oh, yeah, oh, Mali. Whenever my precise army, you want to do like my I've done it. Why? You want it to come across as if I have been very meticulous and exact and precise and determinate. And so we say, look, you don't owe us. No bagawaya. We can see through it. That is what this one is. So it is calling out a seeming pretentious precision that the critical mind can tell. This doesn't exist. How does the critical thinker know this? Look at the concept. So we give some examples. Look, 75.38%, and everybody 0.38 suggests a certain, exactness. And yet, what is it that this 75.38% is claiming to have measured? We go and see any spiritual motivation. Spiritual motivation, J height in it. It's not like height. It's not like weight. It's not like how many mangoes are in the basket, which you can count precisely. It's not these specific, determinate, measurable, objective. You see that concept. What it is that the researcher claims he has researched is not able to lend itself to what? Specificity. It's a vague concept. How did you attain a 75.38% measurement of it? That is what we mean when we say that. That is why it's a problem of pseudo precision, pretending to be precise. about no that's about it. I'm done with that revision. It's a little technical. I think the mop-up should help you if you have done some homework. And then the last one was semi-attached figure, also having to do with the manipulation of the data or the figures, the mathematics. Okay, please let me remind you again. See, the other name for pseudo precision is mathematical mystification. You're using the math to mystify us. I've shown you why. Okay, now to semi-attached figure. Here again, it is a playing on a manipulation of figures. But here, it is not about a vague concept, no. The person's figures correctly qualify the premise, whatever it is that he or she is using the figures to do. It works fine in the premises. You can, in fact, measure it or test it or verify it empirically. In the premises, they are true. But what it is that the premises is saying doesn't lead you to the conclusion that is being drawn. That's why someone may think of this also as what? A diversionary tactics. Playing what? Diversion. Divert your attention, sort of, by playing on the use of words, on the use of figures. So it is true of the premises. And the figure in the premises, very impressive figure, mathematical figures, help you get convinced. When you look at it in the premises, if you verify, it is also true what the premises is saying. However, if you go and see what the premise, which is evidence, is supposed to be supporting, that's the conclusion, they are worlds apart. It is not supporting the conclusion. It has no connection with the conclusion. Or even if it has a connection, it is partially connected. That means if you accepted the premises as true because of the figure in it, you go home disappointed. Impressive premises, ably supported by very well-founded figure. I want to keep emphasizing the figure. That is why it's a semi-attached figure. The emphasis is on the mathematics, the statistic. That is what is impressing you without you thinking through it and asking for rational grounds. You get swayed because of the figure. And so I'm explaining that. So the figure is in the premises. It is true if you verify, you try to check what the evidence says, that the premises says. The figure is true. What it is qualifying is also true. But look at the conclusion. The conclusion that the premise is supposed to go and support is totally disconnected. It is not connected to the conclusion at all, or where it is even connected. It is partially connected. In other words, it is not speaking directly to the conclusion. So it's irrelevant, but you may not ask a question when you see the premises because of the figures inside. It will impress you without question. Look at these. Example 1. Remember, all these are revisions. They're a bit technical. That's why I'm spending some time on these two. 99% of germs die from my sanitizer. I use that example, so let me repeat that. I have produced a sanitizer that can kill 99% of germs. This is Nancy trying to convince UGRC150 D.E students to come and purchase my sanitizer. What is my evidence? I said, look, my sanitizer can kill 99% of germs. See, 99%, it is very convincing. Of what? Germs. Oh, you don't believe me? Let me put it in a test tube for you to see. We verify. And then we pour the sanitizer on the germs that have been gathered in the test tube at the lab. And they all, 7 seconds, they've all disappeared. I say, you see my point? When I tell you that I have a cure, I have a cure for this deadly disease that is disturbing us. Full stop. Bona, you see what I've done? From my claim that I have my sanitizer can kill 99% of germs, my conclusion is, so you see what I mean when I tell you I have a cure for this deadly disease that is disturbing us. It could be elephantiasis or anything. Really? You may not even look at the conclusion. Just because you saw 99.9% and it is verifiably true of the premises, you may not even query what is this premises supposed to be supported. The conclusion that this sanitizer of Dr. Miles can cure the deadly disease that is, killing us. But the premises may be true, and it will have nothing to do with the conclusion I have presented. Yet, because of the figure, 99.9%, and its truth out there, you may be convinced without question. And that is why we say that to be a semi-attached figure. The figure is not fully attached, not fully supportive of the conclusion I draw. I think we would have discussed the Ghanaian university students one, so I won't spend too much time on it. The research the person conducted is true of the premises. They investigated English language. I'm projecting it on your screen. Look, English language for the two universities. And it turned out for a period of 2001 to 2004, we had 2024. Yes, the persons, after their very fine research, which represented what is true of the premise at the time. The premise is the evidence I'm presenting. English language for the year 2001 to 2004, those years, the year period there, for University of Ghana and University of Ibadan. If that is the research you did at that period, yes, it showed that UG students in English language got 75% better performance, if you like it. Their rating was 75% in English language for the period 2001 2004. I want you to understand. That's what the premise says. Whilst the other university, Ibadan, got 58% for the same period, for the same course, English language, not even the composition of it, but you forget it. Let's say English. Now look at the conclusion the person is making. Why is a semi-attached figure, which a critical mind like you must see when you're on the team, the project team, and you are going to tell someone or some people that they are in a comfortable mood. Do a proper assessment before you break people's heart and give them BP. I hope you can hear me calling my line. Just don't understand why students won't learn that thing. I'm using my hotspot. Please, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, madam.
Can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you, madam.
Okay. So the point is, if they finish, thank you. If they finish,
I can't see the slide.
Everyone, please be patient. Just in case it goes off, because students have started calling my line. Remain patient. I'll go out and come in again. I just pray it doesn't go. But if it goes, don't get worked up. Just
Madam, I
wait.
can't see the slide.
Papa,
The
be patient.
slide is showing.
When I tell you, don't worry. I'll stop sharing because of the. Don't worry. Because of the interaction. Please be patient because of the interaction. Some people whose gadgets are like mine, grandma gadgets, it goes off. So I'm resharing so that they can see it. But just so students will understand why I don't like the calls. When you tell them they don't understand. I don't like calls because look at this early morning, I'm conducting a class. You won't believe it. So when I say don't call, unless it's very urgent, just send a message. I'll respond. As I'm teaching, once in a while, I look, if it's very urgent, I respond to them and say, send to this, do this. This will be calls now. 7, last time 9 something. Hello, dog. Hey, Emmanuel, and my brother. Good evening. You know, my assignment is I'm so am I your girlfriend? The Catalan and I'm going around. What they all like. And that is it. It's not because I can't. Anyway, so in case you hear someone say, hey, dog, the last one I could do, she fired me. Yes, I fired. Because people don't know boundaries. Anyway, let's continue. I think we are good. And so the evidence is true. Ofa, can you say it now? Stop sharing and I've reached it. The brother who couldn't see. Atalutu, okay, just in case you don't see, wait a little while to stop sharing and reshare so it should come. The conclusion then for semi-attached figure, which I was emphasizing, for example, too, is this.
I can't see the slide.
It's your gadget grandma.
I or
You can see.
You can see now.
Allow.
Okay, let's continue.
Allow.
It's your connection.
Right.
It's your
So
connection.
just
Check your
so-
connection.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. It will come. My brother, it will come. Pray to. People don't pray to. Sometimes it all happens like that. As I'm if you don't know what you write, can you fire on it? No, then it will be like you write. Then what you write will come. I think it's all about physical. Yeah. So, my dear friends, the conclusion is this is true of English language for the year 2001 to 2004 for the two specific universities in the two countries. Watch. Country Ghana and country Niger, our friends, even brothers and sisters. Now watch. Look at the conclusion the person draws. I'm showing you how disconnected, or if you like, partially connected, not fully connected. The conclusion says Ghanaian university students. From that evidence, it says Ghanaian university. I thought the university we investigated was University of Ghana for a period. In which course? English language, yeah. No computer science, no economics, no international relations, no all the courses we do in universities. The research was done on English language for period 2001 to 2004. I think that the emphasis is clear to you now, exactly. But the person is concluding that University of Ghana students are more intelligent. Intellect. But then, from English language, you are talking intelligent. Done. How does English language alone spell out intelligence? That is the problem. If you've seen it, then we are done. That's semi-attached figure. The person is concluding that University of Ghana students are more intelligent than Nigerian students. Not even Nigerian university students. You go and interview university students of Ibadan, and then you conclude that Ghanaian university students are more intelligent than Nigerian students of all times, all places, of all levels of education. Because you did a research, which is true, of course, of English language for a certain period. That is the problem. This is a semi-attached figure. And if we conduct researches like this, how will we solve our societal problems? You need a critical mind to point it out. This is a semi-attached figure. We tell them on the team, please, everybody calm down. This comfortable thing, we have to slow down. We just investigated and did a research in so and so area, and we compared it to so and so area. That's what we've done. Friends, our research is true, but it's true of so and so area for so and so period regarding so and so subject matter. If you go and conclude, therefore, all Ghanaians have said, look, wait, so no now there is trouble coming. And so, on that note, I'm done. We also pointed out watch out for one passage having multiple flaws. That one is up to you. The better you are at knowing the specific sicknesses, the specific fallacies, the better you will be in detecting them. Okay, so you can tell that the person feels warm, they are having nausea, okay, and yet they are not eating well too. So you can, as a physician, you can diagnose and tell that, oh, I suspect it could be worms. I could also see that the person has anemia. He's sleeping a lot. It could be that he's constipating. And so if the earlier intake hasn't gone out, it's difficult to bring in a new one. You don't go for eating if the one that went in hasn't, it's too early, so you understand me. Therefore, your ability to diagnose the problem depends on your knowing the different fallacies. It's not any true and poor matter. I'm looking for Pasco. People are sending me past questions. I don't know whether it is D or whether the email saves everyone. So sometimes I get you. Dog, please, this particular question, I don't have an answer. And sometimes you're shocked. The kind of question the person says doesn't have an answer. I pray for grace for them. So we'll help ourselves. But learn the content. If you know the content, you can tell. If you know original currency, when they give you counterfeit, you will know. Brothers, if your fuel is going to finish in the car you drive, you don't need any meticulous test to come. Sometimes the first stretch, the car stretches is a boom boom. You can tell that I think it is mine. Either this one or that one. At least you know that. You see, if your tie loses on the way, sister, if you are in labor, those who have pushed babies out already, you don't need any temperature thing on your side and side to see whether it's labor. You will feel it, Obama. You have to know it this year. It is the teenager who hasn't gone through it that sometimes thinks that she wants to use the rule. She'll go there, the baby's head is coming into the baby's. But you have to know the content. That is all I'm saying with the over elaboration. So that you do, I want you to do, and you can. I think that we have a very good, relatively very good D class from the marking I've done. That is the end of Unit 10. Let me take questions on that. The revision for that for Unit 10. Take those and then continue. Adam Mahmoud, your hand is all up, so I think your question may still be there. There were other 2 hands. Okay, Emmanuel's hand is up as well. Adam, let me take yours first. Any questions on Unit 10 or on the unit? It's revision very quickly, then I'll move to Unit 9. Unit 6 and 7, I think that I'll just take questions if you have them and then we'll go home. Please unmute your microphone first, Adam. Okay, Manuel, for you then, please ask.
Yeah, good morning, Doc.
Good morning,
please, please, I wanted to know, like, is there a connection? It's like there is a connection between appeal to people and genetic fallacy, but I'm not really getting it
what
right.
Do you think? Okay, what are they? So let's, before we see the difference, let's know each of them. You see that? So when will you say a fallacy is appealing to the people? What do you think?
And like following the crowd. That's what I
say it well. I know I understand you, but say it well, as if you were answering an exam question for 5 marks.
Okay, so appeal to people is like doing what people are saying, like because this one is up to this, you feel like, okay, then let me do this. Like that's what's in my opinion. That's
fine. But if I'm marking and I'm extremely liberal, I'll give you 3 over 5.
Okay.
So come again, don't worry. Just so you have a feel of how I'm or we mark. Go ahead. Say it well, because we want to know whether you know the fallacy. If you don't know it very well, you won't be able to distinguish it from the other one. And it's fine. So we are engaging. What do you think? Can anyone add a little bit to Emmanuel's understanding of appealing to PT? You understand it from the way you speak, understand that.
To people. Appealing to people, please.
I'm sorry, appealing to people.
Yeah.
Can someone help us say it so that I don't have to get into my mind for you?
Yeah,
go ahead. Yes, sir.
Can I help you?
Mr. Taki's hand is up, but go ahead. My lady, go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. I want you to say what appeal to people and appeal to masses. Like when it's when you conclude that because the majority of people are going for maybe a certain product, so that product is very good. Let's take for example Pepsodent.
Very good. Don't add more. You are fine. You are fine. So, Madam could get 4.5 over 5. And I will show you in a minute, Emmanuel. Emmanuel is overdone. I also said that if you follow what majority people are, if you are doing what majority people are doing, not exactly the same. I'll explain shortly. She says, if you say that because majority people are supporting, say, a product, therefore it is good, then you're committing that fallacy. It is in argumentation. That's the whole point I'm showing. So say, if you don't give us reasons why we should accept something as true or good or bad, something like that, you don't give us reasons, but you only point us to the number of people supporting that thing, and you say majority people support the thing, therefore it is good in itself, then we say you have committed appeal to people or appeal to masses fallacy. You see what I just said? So you haven't given us reasons. I want to know that you know that. So it is a fallacy because the person is not reasoning. The person is manipulating. So you haven't given reason. You are pointing to the majority of people that support the thing. You are following the number of people, plenty people, so to speak, that support the view to tell us, therefore, that we should also accept it. Or because of that, you are accepting it. That is what makes it a fallacy. And the specific fallacy called appealing. You make an appeal to how many people, the plenty people, see that support it. Rather than giving us reason, you have to say this. They are not giving us the reasons. Because you know what? I could give you reasons, and then when I finish, I point to the number of people following. I've not committed a fallacy. No. That is a side plate or appetizer. Like the shito that they put in the beans when you buy it, or some vegetables on the jollof rice. I've still given you jollof rice and chicken. I just added the leaves. With or without the leaves, the food is jollof rice and chicken. You see that? So you have to let us see that. You have to let us see that I don't want hungry. You have to let us see that the person didn't give reasons. The person is only telling you to accept a view because a majority of people support. That's something like what Madam said. And she even went ahead to give an example. So if I give 4.5 over 5, in the final computation, it will be 5 over 5. So Emmanuel, so this one is what appealing to the masses is. Now let's contrast this. Let's see what the opposite of it would be for what? Genetic fallacy. What then is a genetic fallacy? Someone may want to help us. Then now we can ask Emmanuel to look at the contrast and where there could be an overlap. Patience, go ahead. Patience. Thank you.
Hello, Doc. Good morning.
Hello, my lady. Good morning.
Genetic fallacy is a fallacy of rejecting a product because of its origin, whether it's fake or origin.
Three.
Yeah.
Because you don't always reject. Sometimes you may accept it. Three means I have been extremely liberal. Let me explain. Yes, that's extremely liberal. We only are too much. And then we hear me say, like it's not like someone is a no, but like you are looking at all the possibilities. So you say, okay, let me just give the maximum I can give. That will be 3. Because we don't always reject a view because of its source. Sometimes we also accept because of its source. Like the American system, we take an acceptance. That's 1. 2, you didn't tell me again that the person didn't give reasons. The person is only pointing to the source. If you say that the person didn't give reasons, he is just pointing to the source for us to either accept the view or reject it. 5 over 5. The person didn't give reasons, he is just pointing to the source for us to reject the view. 3.5. Because he might also use the source to make us accept. Now I think the point is clear. To help you in how you answer these very short answer questions, you have to be concise, concision, and yet hit the main things. It's a skill, so you mark it. And people say, "Don't, if it was essay and it's true. We gave essays. I've finished marking. I'm reading more. Otherwise, all we release it. People get BB. Do you know the broken heart? So I review again with a few of the team members that are able to help us so that we can be extremely liberal as we can without running it out down with too much water. The sobolo mustn't be overly mixed. Then it becomes color water. No. So we can at least, mix it like a shemimalistic. You know shemima? Did you eat shemima? Please, who knows shemima? I know you are all and then
Madam, I know.
Madam,
Yes,
we enjoy
we know.
You know how you box it. When you go to those times SHS, you make sure that they give you a very concentrated one from home. But when you come, every week you add a bottle of water. When the thing comes down, they add water and sugar so that it can take you to the rest of the day. Well, maybe some of you were that be listed. My Dadabi was with Shemima, with hand labor. Dadabi with hand labor. But here we are. Okay. Now, my dear friend, so you can't add too much water, and then the thing loses its essence. That is why you should know that skill of answering questions. So now to Emmanuel's question directly. So Emmanuel, 1 emphasizes the number of people following the thing, for which reason you should also come and follow it, or you should also come and accept, or you should also reject, because the number of people, plenty people are rejecting. That's what makes it appealing to the masses. Whilst the other one, which you call genetic fallacy, is saying that the thing originates from so and so place or is sourced from so and so place. Therefore, for just that reason, we should accept it, or for just that reason, we should reject it. That is what makes it genetic fallacy. And so they are not exactly equal. I think that the one that may have overlap, which we already pointed out, that some of the fallacies may overlap when you see them in the passage. It's like genetic fallacy versus ad hominem. It's logistic or eulogistic. We can say that sometimes a fallacy that is presenting itself as a genetic fallacy could also be an ad hominem fallacy. For example, I could say we should not accept what Emmanuel Ofori said. Let me see your name. Yeah, Emmanuel Ofori is saying we shouldn't accept. So we say why so, but he comes from so and so place, and those people now. You see, now I am attacking Emmanuel's person, so he's attacking the person, logistic or whatever it is. But it is also an attack that has to do with what? His origin or his source, or the source of the idea. So, but the idea came from so and so person. So you see that it could also be at once genetic and yet at the same time also what? Ad hominem eulogistic. That's why we don't ask you a vague question. If we ask you to say, and why? Or explain why you say so. So that in your explanation, you know why you call it genetic and why your colleague may be calling it ad hominem, saying eulogistic. Okay, so there we can have that overlap. But I don't think it is that explicit with appeal to the masses and genetic fallacy. Also, I think it can have an overlap when you have genetic fallacy and appeal to unqualified authority. Look at that, that's also. Okay, you are looking at the source of that idea to say that therefore we should accept it, or an appeal to authority, and therefore we should reject it. Compare that to the genesis of the idea. It looks as if it is because of where the idea is coming from. Which source is that? An authority of a kind. Okay, so it can become both appeal to authority and appeal to genetic fallacy. And so if the question is asked of you, the question will clearly tell you what they are looking for you to be explicit without vagueness. Emmanuel, I hope that helped. That was a good question to help with this. All right.
Yes, please.
There was
please,
another,
please.
you are welcome. There was another hand up, you are most welcome, sir. There was another hand up. I want to take that one too very quickly. Then we can do the last small part. Is the person sorted? If you are sorted, then all well and good. Now take your questions on Unit 9, causal reasoning. Please, do you have any questions on causal reasoning? Let's discuss causal reasoning. I'm talking much there. What is revision? What did you see in the unit on causal reasoning? Please raise your hand if you have to comment very quickly, please. Oh, you. Eh? Nobody said heard anything in unit 9. Okay, then let's move to unit 7.
Hello.
Raise your hand.
Hello,
Doc.
I'm answering your question now. Mami bi so now when can I slide ahead? Better. In a slide, I'm going for him. If you are answering your question, you answer. You on my side.
Hello, Doc.
I said, what did you say? You did not. What did you see there?
I
want hands up. I see only Van John's hand up, and I'm going to take him. Please, when I ask the question, I mean it. Okay, the revision section, so that we don't end up running a lecture again. It will overwhelm me. You will feel as if I didn't know the thing. You know, you will feel that way. But if you are participating, there it becomes a recap, like a final touch before you go for the interview in the US embassy or something. You are doing some final mop up. Look at the person in the eye. Look at them. They will see that you are serious. When you are asking you question, don't hesitate. If you are not sure, say, I think I'll look at it and come. So we are doing just a final brush up. That is not the place to say, hey, if you go, first of all, listen. When they go, you put tension on the person. When they are entering the place, the people suspect that they won't give you the visa. You'll be frustrated. So I don't want you to have that anxiety. That's why I want us to engage. You know, we've done a lot of things there. Plenty. Just tell me one. I'll take it from there. Van John, say John. Please give me your reaction, Unit 9. What did you see there, sir? I hope the people haven't taken me off.
Yes, Doc.
Yes. Please go ahead,
Doc.
sir. Good morning, sir.
Please, my question on causal reasoning has to do with the cause as proximity, and then the necessary condition. I want to know the difference between the two of them.
Oh, difference, pardon. That one. I know you know it. I know, but I know the name. You're always raising your hand in class. I know the name. You know it. You have not answered a question because I was going to go. So you say, let me ask something before this woman goes. Right. I know you know it. You don't have to ask a question. So you tell me. I want you to tell me what you saw there. Because I know you know it. History. I know that name. I know there are names that I don't know them by face, but they are always answering or questions or reading or doing something. So that particular name they have displayed there is very familiar. Sometimes they even attend the other group sessions. So it's not only this group. One particular group.
Please,
please let my Van John talk. You were quiet. It's Van John that saved you. Van, tell me what you saw in your right. We built on it. Okay, everyone. Quiet, sir.
Okay. So cause as a proximity. I realized that is when incidents happen and we are looking for the cause that actually made it happen. Example, when somebody sleeps on a banana peel, and instead of we saying that the person slept because of the banana peel, instead of looking at the speed the person was coming towards the peel before she or he fell.
Or who even dropped the thing?
Yes, please. Instead of considering who dropped the thing.
That's very fine. So I want to ask the class now. You have a question, a legitimate. Okay, then go ahead, sir, with your question.
So my question is that why is it that we don't actually look for the person that threw the thing as a cause, but we look for something that is very close to the fall?
Okay, so thank you very much. It means that we will only show you how people think of causes, the word cause. One of the ways that people think of the word cause is cause as what? Proximate condition. One of the ways people think of the word sister is what? A biological sibling. The one that your mother and your father got busy and your mother carried in her tummy or womb for 9 months and brought into the world. Some think of the word sister that way. But for others, a sister is one that has been begotten of the father, like himself. I'm speaking Christian faith now of a certain group. So when I'm in church, I would say brothers and sisters in the Lord. And the people sitting there can be my grandfather or my grandmother. But in the Lord, we are brothers and sisters. It doesn't mean in this sense of the use of the word sister. I'm not talking about sister in the biological sense. I mean, literal biological sense of it. It might be the spiritual biological sense of it. One father, all of us, sons and daughters. That's another connotation of the word sister, another meaning to the word sister. But sister could also be the Roman sister. Okay, so I could say a sister visited today. And any of these three meanings may be what I'm referring to. If you do ask for clarity and you think that you heard sister, so it means my mother's daughter that I share the same father with. And you said your sister came here yesterday. That's the evidence you gave her. Meanwhile, your sister that same time she was in US graduating in her Harvard program, which I draw. Then I tell you, oh, I said, a sister came here, a sister. A sister. A sister doesn't mean my biological sister. One of my sisters came here. A sister could be my church. Sorry, and so on. If you got that, understand now. When the people use the word cause, it has different connotations. That's what we studied. One of the meanings people associate with the word cause is what? Cause as proximity. And so sometimes when people ask you what caused something, they mean what happened just before the effect. That is all they are looking for. That is all. They are trying to find out what came before the effect. They are looking at it in terms of time. You may say, but that is not a good way of thinking of the word sister. No problem. That is your diagnosis of it. But you can't stop people from having their conception of what cause is. Just like you can't stop someone from calling her roommate sister. Advancement girls, and of course, most girls' school call themselves sisters. Sister this, sister this. That's how we call ourselves. Even after school, when we meet at old school reunions or something, we say sister. Sister this, sister this. Doesn't mean you say they are your biological siblings. No, it's one of the connotations. So the word cause could also be interpreted by some as what? Proximate condition, the condition that was nearest to the effect. But you could also think of the word cause as the one that you're asking about, necessity, necessary condition. What must be present before you can say the effect has occurred? Empirically speaking, it must be there before the effect. If it is not there, the effect won't come. You see that this necessity thing, I have just showed you something that you must take. People will say a woman must have a womb before she can carry a baby. Empirically speaking, you see, but you see that may not even be the case now. That's why necessity and certainty and what have you about causality is suspect. It's an inductive reasoning. But where we are working within our empirical framework, we can think of what is necessary for an effect to occur. For someone to die, the person's breath must cease, and whatever the physicians among you can give you, there's a time that the doctor or the physician will tell you this guy is clinically, and if you like, whatever means of it, dead. Yet some too have their grandma at home, and they are just waiting for, because she's dead. Well, she's dead yet not dead because of the different connotation. So necessity now will be what? The condition that must be present before you can have the effect, such that without that condition, the effect will not come. Speaking within the inductive framework, I gave you the football scenario, and to my brother, you know football very well, I think. So you understand how it is that until the full circumference of the ball hits the back, not even the back of the net, let it just cross the goal line. That's all. The full circumference should cross the goal line of your opponent. If you put it in your own net, we already told you that will also be a good performance on your side. When you play there, you stand and clap your hands plenty. As if we reward you for clapping your hands. We won't go, so you are standing there clapping. My brother, that is what must be called a goal. If it hasn't happened, that you haven't scored a goal. So necessary condition is not talking about proximity, what immediately happened before the effect. No, it's talking about what must be present before the effect will come. Okay, those are the two. I hope that the further explanation helps you a bit more. All right, thank you very much. Van has responded.
Yes,
so I'll
Doc.
take Edem
Yes, Doc.
Mamuzu. Yo, that's it. Edem Mamuzu, what did you also say in Unit 9? And then ask your question after. I'm trying to pull out my own slides.
So
Go
please,
ahead,
good
sir.
morning. So please, good morning.
Good morning, big man.
So please, I want to. I read somewhere. Is there any ambiguity when we talk about? It's about the lesson 10, please. The illegitimate appeal to authority and then appeal to an illegitimate authority.
I don't see the ambiguity unless someone misinterprets it. So let me show you. Listen, you may appeal to an authority, and that appeal you are making is a legitimate one because the authority in question is an aspect in the field that you are appealing to him to come and defend. Okay, I have to mute all. So Adam, so if you were appealing to the aspect, an authority of that very field, it will be hard for us to call that one an appeal to an illegitimate authority. That is not an illegitimate authority. The authority you have appealed to is a legitimate one. Please, I hope you understand that.
But my point is, if
No. Answer my question. I'm not done. Big man, please.
Okay.
Do you understand where I have raised?
Please go over again, Doc. Please go over again, Doc.
Hey, Massa. Massa.
Go on.
Charlie.
Master, right?
Well, you listen. I said, if I am appealing, please you listen. If I am appealing to, please, let's help you. Listen, there are two ways. You asked a very important question. I'm helping you see that there won't be an ambiguity if the person you are speaking with is clear. If I appeal to an authority just means an expert. And that expert is an expert in the field in question that we are discussing. Why would you say that that appeal I have made is an illegitimate appeal? It is not illegitimate. It will be legitimate. Legitimate means correct. Simple in English. A correct authority, maybe I'm appealing to. I'm using a correct expert to ground what we are discussing. Maybe we are discussing, I don't know, there's maybe football or something. Give me something that is not contentious, very health something. And the person I'm appealing to is a health practitioner or health whatever. So the authority will be a legitimate one. You can't call that one an illegitimate authority. Then I'm asking you so far, do you understand what I've said so far? Yes or no, sir? Before I build on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Doc. So far.
Oh, please let Adam
Loud and clear.
respond because he's the one asking the question. Adam, thank you. So now let's continue. However, that doesn't mean that cannot be a fallacy on its own. There's a fallacy called appeal to authority. Even where the person is an expert in the field, an expert can go wrong. I don't think that we bothered you with that in our content. The content focused on when you are appealing to an authority that is an illegitimate one. And so the example in the slide, you see that it is from my colleague was dealing with illegitimate appeal to authority. And then in the examples, he put up the appeal to authority. I want you to see what is happening. Because even if you appeal to an authority, it could be illegitimate, it could be a fallacy. Another fallacy. We are not calling out the illegitimacy of the person. That we are not saying that, oh, the person you are calling is not an expert in the field. No, we are just telling you that even where the person is an expert, he could err. You go for a second opinion and a third opinion when a doctor, an expert of many years, maybe 30 years, 40 years practice, has given you a report or he has gone through your health something and has declared you something. And yet you go to another. Thank you, my lady. A diagnosis from an expert of a long standing. It's not in the for yesterday people. No. And yet, because of the nature of the disciplines we are dealing with, he could be wrong. I said the whole world thought the earth was in the center of the universe. For hundreds of years, we thought the geocentric view was the view that the earth is in the center and all other planets, or if you like, planetary motion revolving around the earth. That is what the view was, geocentric view, as the geography folks, astronomy and astrology, whatever. It was a lie. At least for now, we know that wasn't the case. And it wasn't for 10 years or 20 years view. Hundreds of years. Even when someone discovered an alternative view, The church, when I say the church, I mean the symbolic political authority, so-called religious political authority, then didn't want to. Some of them were killed. It's like saying today that you have a cure for HIV. Cure, not you have something to manage it. If you say you have a cure, it's as if you have said something that is abominable. Some of them were killed. You can Google Copernican revolution, Copernicus's view, Ptolemy and co. They just said you can't blaspheme because man is in the center of God's will. Man, Nipa, is in the center of God's will. Everything else was created for man, a certain anthropocentric view of the world. And therefore, where man is located, which is earth, is where everything else will be centered, as the rest of the planetary stuff are going around. When the guy is looking empirically into the I don't know, telescope or something, and he's seeing something contrary to what we think, we believe. Experts give expertise. That's all I'm trying to do. So an authority could be wrong. And so Big Boss said, Adam, appealing to authority could itself be called a fallacy. But that fallacy is not the one that says you are going to call an illegitimate authority. See the difference? Now, what we have focused on in our content is the examples we have gone through moments ago, is where you, Krano, the person you are appealing to is not even an authority in the field. That's so annoying because when the person is even an authority, we have a kind of doubt that, look, let's still give it rational engagement. Let the person give us reasons why they hold that view, beside the mere fact that it is coming from an authority. The authority could be wrong. The figures may have been wrongly calculated. The lab report, the blood that they tested, may have been mixed wrongly. The person's temperature, maybe he was writing 20, more would be realistic, 12 degrees Celsius, and he wrote 21. One before the two instead of two before the one. He's an expert. His expertise is not in question, but he could err. There could be mislabeling of the drugs. It's coming from that competent boss who knows his stuff, but he may have mislabeled. So even when we have an authority, when you appeal merely to the authority without rational grounding, it could qualify as a certain type of fallacy. Which one? Appealing to authority. But that wasn't our focus. Our focus was in this package was what? Appealing to an illegitimate authority or making an illegitimate appeal to authority. You see that, boss, Adam? Daily good.
Yes, please.
I'm sure you saw it. I've given you 3 levels of explanation. And to look at how the fallacy is labeled, you will see that there is no ambiguity. It's just what are you calling out as a fallacy? Then I will just say, hey, correct. You know, no tracker is not correct. Devin that's the one I know for it. What is problematic about the reasoning pattern? You say, oh no, the person is just appealing to the expertise of the boss of the area. Yes, that's appealing to authority. Or the person's appeal is to an authority that is not legitimate for the question we are discussing. That is an illegitimate appeal to authority. And then the person is making an appeal to authority. That is not a legitimate one, not the authority's legitimacy, but his appeal is not a legitimate appeal because maybe the person you are calling doesn't have qualification, or the person has a qualification but in another field. It will still be what? Appealing illegitimately, describing how you are doing the appeal to an authority. All of them are fallacies in their own right. Is there any other question? Okay. So you know the causal fallacies. Can I have uniform answers for the causal fallacies? What are the causal fallacies you have studied? You can give examples of each. You can diagnose when you see one. I want cross answers very quickly, please. I have to go now. Causal fallacies.
We have post hoc, ego post hoc. We have
very good. That's correct. It's only one person in the class. I want cross answers.
We have causing
Confusing correlation for
cause with
further
effect.
quality.
Very good.
Confusing
Which
cause
other
with
one?
genetic fallacy.
Very good.
We have genetic fallacy. We have overlooked
Very
or
good.
common.
Concomitant
Yeah.
of variation.
Concomitant, your boy.
Concomitant. Concomitant.
Concomitant.
It's JS Mills.
All right. But it's good you said it. You see, nobody even knows who said what. The fallacies are the ones you all listed nicely. Concomitant variation, agreement, difference, joint method of agreement are ways of explaining what could possibly have caused the suspected thing. You see that? So how do you explain it? If you are trying to diagnose, to find out what you suggest caused something, you will be using any of these 4 methods. And then the question that your colleague asked earlier shows us the various meanings that we give to the word cause. That was Van John's question. And then we just showed you fallacies or errors associated with how you are diagnosing or explaining the possible cause of something. Okay, so post hoc, about hoc, confusing cause with effect. I'm not projecting anything. Those who like to see things, I'm still looking for what I think I should project. You have all the slides there, so and we have done everything. Correlation. Thank you. Confusing a correlation for causal connection, overlooking or ignoring a common underlying cause. And then one of the ladies added genetic fallacy. Well done. So we are done with Unit 9. Any questions on Unit 9, please? I want to mop up over there. I think you are fine. So we can take Unit 7 if you have any questions on Unit 7. You saw Unit 7 and 6 before your IE, but it doesn't hurt to mop up. Let's do Unit 6 and 7 together. Remember Units. Okay, so Edward, ask your questions.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Please. I think sometimes some of the lectures it inconveniences us with our maybe the time schedule for.
What's your question? We are not holding a lecture.
My question is about.
Excuse me, sir. What we are doing now is Nancy Miles being a friend.
Yes.
That's all. So don't come and tell me that I should show how my friendship will be done. Right? Why? People send emails. I respond to them one. Sometimes when I look at the responses going well, if people had individual concerns, I'm a coordinator of a course, apart from being a lecturer and an examiner for it. So I would have been responding to one person at a time, the same question they had to help them. If I get to speak to currently, when we start, we're about 240 something people at once and record and even give it to others who may need it. I have said more people than responding to individual questions. This is a revision. What should I do? The lecture times for the course were advertised. We created 18 groups. I have done more than what I should even be doing for D.E. He won't pay me for a lot of things I'm doing. And it's not because of the pay. Okay, yes, but because people must receive what they want, and people have peculiar needs and concerns. 18 groups, choose the one that fits your schedule. You say the lecture time, some of the lecture time. I don't like that. Bad work, man. Everybody now, not to Edward, parallel with your two. You have 18 groups, choose what you want. From the several groups, 7 to 9 p.m., 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Sunday morning. I'm a pastor. Do you know a pastor? Of course, there are lead pastors. Sunday morning. Now, when I go and meet the demons, I can face them Sunday morning because someone works on Saturday. Maybe it's a security officer or something.
I guess
it. Won't upgrade it. Offer. So you have to have such jobs. We have Tuesday evening, 6 to 8 p.m. This is a weekend program, my dear friends. It should have been all Saturdays, 8 to 12. Finished. If you can't fit in, you can go to, but you have to be considerate. Okay, and then to add to that, this course is university-wide. So it is not like your department course where all of you, maybe 300 or 400 of you, 50, 100, whatever number, are in one department. And so we can agree that let's use just this time. If you do that, it might not favor other people who are doing psycho, social information studies, whatever. So you have to give several time slots to help the student. I did that and pleaded with my colleagues to give me 2 hours. So please give me another time. So, oh, fuck. This thing there, it will be too much. Just one slot, I say, I beg. Give me one Saturday and one weekday. I beg. Friday evening, 6:30 in account. So that if you go for food now, you do it before you go. Sunday morning, if you are an Adventist and you don't study on Saturday, you can have a Sunday morning, weekend, or Sunday evening, Saturday afternoon, or evening, or morning. Weekday, Monday evening, there's a slot. Tuesday, 2 slots. Wednesday, I think, I don't remember whether I have, if I look at the groups, they're there. Joel, you say sometimes the lecture time. Are you talking about UGRC150 or some courses? For this course here, we have killed our back. Is there any expression like that? What do we say? Offer. So no complete. What we are doing now is revision, which I chose to do. It will not be paid for. Nobody will pay for it. But it will help us. So it's not all about money. If someone can hear something, just proximity versus necessity, and it will help him or her understand local and go and excel. Your reward is great in heaven, dear. Yeah, that's what we are doing. Don't come and make it some of the time we are this. Then nobody will do it. That is what happens. You don't get help from anyone, strictly by the rule. If you can do it, if you can come next year and do it. Then people are frustrated and they are getting CCD, DE for things that they are not dumped. They would have done better. They had contact time. I've answered your question. The first preamble. If there's a question on content, I have given you my time. I should be invigilating. Yes, I told you. I'm scheduled for invigilation this week. You can check with the university. As soon as I notice that this morning's time for our center, there won't be an exam for this morning, then I said, Charlie, let me use it to take care of this. My fine student of all groups. No, or that's any time. So now, what time should I give you? This is there. Oh, much very longer. See, this one, if it is a critical thinking assignment, I'll get 9/10, not the 3/10, 2/10. People are getting. Okay, let me take, if there's a content question on content, ask me that. Let me help you. That is what's important. Okay, friends. So you would see that we have done units 10 and we have done units 9 on causal reasoning. And then I wanted to remind you of unit 7, which deals with verifiability, confirmability, universal versus. I think I've seen 2 or 3 emails. Some, after asking them again, I noticed it's a D student that sent that email, or the person says, yes, he's a D or she's a D. The person is asking about predictive power. Why universal statement will have a higher predictive power than what's the other one? Than a statistical one, in that order. It is all in unit 7. Just look at the reference class. I'm sure you remember that. And then let the reference class, if it is particular, that means if it is a finite reference class, it has an end. If you were counting that reference class, just in case you've forgotten, and this is revision, it's like the subject. It's like it. Okay. So if I make a statement, today is Friday, Edem Amuzu's hand is up, for example. The statement Edem Amuzu's hand is up is particular. What makes it particular? I'm referring to a specific, countable, finite reference. Who is the reference? Adam. Adam and Edem. Edem Amuzu. What am I saying about Edem Amuzu? I'm saying that Edem Amuzu's hand is up. The attribute is what? His hand is up. Now, this is a particular statement because of that. The reference class, you can finish counting it. And from there, if I know it is finite, then it means it is a verifiable statement. And if it's a verifiable statement, then it is good to use such as what? Evidence. We've done all of that. Where I say all students raise their hands when classes are going, or every time it's raised, the ground gets what? or students like to make false accusations, or lecturers like to be impatient, or stuff like that. I am referencing a class that is infinite, infinite. It doesn't end. Potentially, it keeps on speaking about members that you haven't immediately had. If I say Legon students, I've done so and so and so and so. That is a generalization. What type of generalization would that be? I'll take Eden's question. Legon students, let's say Legon students are brilliant. What type of generalization would that be?
So like
Universal.
Very good.
Universal.
Someone will cancel
universal,
universal
like
and write rule. Then when I read it, I say, hey, this one, the what is following the person is wearing camouflage. You cancel universal and you write law, like, what have you done? Nothing. So predictive power is tied to this same logic I have just explained. The statement that is universal in nature or law-like in nature has a higher predictive power than the others in varied levels. So from the universal one to the statistical one to the particular statement or verifiable one, and then to the one that we all don't like as empirical scientists, pseudo scientific statement. That is what is going on in your unit 7. So falsifiability, the ability to be false, we have emphasized in your unit 7 that it is a virtue. It is valuable that the thing can be false. Your ability to be able to choose yes or no is what is important. That's why in the Garden of Eden, the tree was put there. Yes, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. My son asked me, one of my sons asked me then when he was younger, I mean, why is it that God put the thing there? You know that the person can go and eat the thing and sin. Then you and him will not be friends again. Then you shouldn't put it there. See, mommy, you see that when you are going, you do the chicken fry, you put it in the cupboard and lock it. Because if it's on the cabinet, maybe when I'm going to drink water, I'll take one chicken. But you don't want me to take it. So you put it in the cupboard and lock it. So that one I won't take it. And I said, I'm not going to. Then I explained, God doesn't want us compelled. I'm still explaining possibility. I just want to use something many of us can relate to one way or the other to show yes. Okay, so the person has to choose. Now bring it to verifiability, confirmability, falsifiability. A statement must be capable of being true or false. That's what makes it scientific. Because it is capable of going left or right, we go then to test whether it actually went left or it actually went right, whether it is actually true in the world there or it is not true. So its ability to be false is valuable. If you go and present a statement that is necessarily true already, no matter what happens in the world is true already, what are we going to look for again? Then it ceases to be testable, able to be tested. Therefore, it is not scientific because science means testability, means falsifiability. The thing can be false. That is why we test. That's why we search and research. And so the statements that are easily falsifiable are more valuable to the empirical scientists than the others. Therefore, I'm concluding. Universal generalizations will be high on the value table for science. Next will be statistical generalization and then verifiable statement. Pseudo-scientific statements can never be false. They are absolutely true. Therefore, they are not useful scientifically. They don't have empirical content. They don't have predictive power. They are not testable. Therefore, they are not scientific, and therefore they are not useful when you do empirical science. The others have their values in that order. Topmost universal generalization. It has a higher predictive power. It is easier to falsify. It has more empirical content. It speaks for more to all women compared to that woman. All women says more than that woman. The content, the reference is more. That's the whole thing going on in Unit 7. Adam, let me take your question, please.
Yes, Doc. No, please, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Doc, I want a little bit of clarification concerning the modus ponens, particularly syllogism.
That's unit 6. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Unless, let me take your question. I'll ask someone else who has a question on unit 7. Then we'll finish with unit 6. Your exam is on unit 6, 7, 9, 10. So the revision is on that. So go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Is it the case that when we take it normally moves from modus ponens normally moves from the particular statement to general statement before
That
drawing
is not
conclusion?
true. I didn't teach you that. I don't know where you learned it. Did you learn to do access? It is not correct.
Yeah, yes.
I beg you, it's not correct. Ask your friends. That I told you already. It's not correct. So if that is the premise on which you are going to ask your question, that thing is not correct. What makes an argument inductive is not whether it moves from particular to general or general to particular. Not at all. Okay, that's not, it's like saying that, no, I'm just saying that don't build from that premise. Okay. That premise means you are doing something like saying that what distinguishes a male from a female is that you say, oh, doc, you say that normally females have long hair than males. We say don't start from there. Because there are females who don't have hair craft. It's sakura. Koli with anointing oil on it, with fine earrings. And they are fine females. There are brothers who have long hair. Some are wearing earrings too now. Okay. I don't know, maybe some of you are. And you cannot say that that makes them non-male. Okay. And so the starting point, you don't want the starting point to be faulty. Abeta, we can hear you. Abeta, hot up. Adam, so don't stop. Just continue. But I'm just showing you that the starting point, your premise. You say, oh, doc, you know that normally inductive arguments start from particular to general. I said, no, I don't know that. Yeah. Now, if there's still a question, go ahead.
We are told syllogism is under deductive argument, right?
Please, so don't ask me things like that. Otherwise, that one, I'll fire.
Okay.
I'll fire. Class, please. It's syllogism. Hold on. I'm going to ask the class. My people, please, let's help deal with the confusion. Your friends are like, I see your screen there. My your friends, they are laughing at you.
So I'm not asking.
Syllogism. Don't worry. No, you're asking. Oh, my brother, you asked the question. Okay, go ahead. Syllogisms, all the modus no quo. You know all the modus something we have learned. They are all syllogisms. I don't have to tell you that. Go ahead now.
Okay, I'm going.
Good. Adam, go ahead. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we all know that is also.
Please be careful with that. Be careful with that. We all know that. I want you to be very careful. I want to shut up, but my instincts too cannot be silent. When people are making claims as a critical thinker, you don't want to talk that way. You are who do you know? We are suffering in Ghana. You are who? We can't hear you. You are who?
Okay, we are told.
You are who were told.
I learned that.
Yeah, hey.
Go ahead. Don't worry, go on.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I missed portions of that.
Pardon?
I'm sorry, go ahead. Repeat it again.
Okay. Deductive argument is under syllogism is under deductive argument. So when you take modus ponens, for instance, I was challenging somebody the other time, like the person was like telling me it might also move from general statement. I mean, the premises might move from general statement to particular statement. And I was like, what I'm used to.
Don't say that thing, my dear friend. Don't say it. It's not correct. If the person is the one who mark your work, then listen to what the person said and write it. When I ask you questions, write it. Let me mark it.
No, please
don't. So you are telling me that the lecturer for the course is called, let me look for a name here, Madam Agnes Kodia. We all know that the lecturer of the course is called Dr. Madam Agnes Kodia. Then when you said it immediately, it's a factual inaccuracy. I said, no. You and I don't know that. That's the first thing. No, we all know. But secondly, what you are saying too is not correct. Madam Agnes Kodia is a very important student of the course who is currently signed up. We suppose that she's a student. Sign up now. So don't say that she's a lecturer. Even if you didn't know, I just corrected that. Then you say, okay, I get it. But I was speaking to, then you continue, Richard Abbey. And Richard Abbey said that, the lecturer, Dr. Agnes Kodia, I said, hey, offer. You understand me now? Don't say that deductive argument move from general to particular. It is not correct. Don't say inductive argument move from particular premises to general conclusion. It is not correct. Unit 6 lecture recording is there at your resource too. Repeat that in my voice. This general to particular thing is what I'm telling you. Don't use it as a category, as a standard for distinguishing anything. I don't have to run the course again, sir. Do you understand?
I do.
Exactly. You have to go and engage the content. Written in slides. There's a voice discussion on it. It is in your textbook. All these are in your resource too, which is not a problem. Maybe Adam, I have not looked at it in full. This revision that is helping me is no problem. It's not too good, but no problem. Now the lecturer is telling you that you are insisting. That's my problem. Then bring it to my exam and I'll mark it. That's the only language that maybe. So I'm telling you that don't use general to particular or particular to general to do any distinction between deduction and induction. It doesn't work. It's like saying that to tell whether someone is a man or a woman or a man, look at their hair. Then immediately I said, don't use hair length to determine whether someone is male or female. Don't let it even be a discussion. Oh, no, I mean for male. I say whether male or female is not the issue. You don't use hair. You don't use general to particular, okay, or particular to general to do a distinction. And this is not the first time we are saying it. Ask your colleagues. It is written there. We have discussed it over and over again. There is a recording to that. And the reason why I'm very passionate about it when we were discussing is because textbooks have it. Now, let me remind you, Adam, just in case you were with us during the lecture time. If I say, look on your screen now, I'm using your friends on the screen. So if I say, Innocent is taller than Samuel, and Samuel is also taller than Richard, wouldn't it follow necessarily then that Innocent is taller than Richard? Adam, I hope you can see that.
Yes, please.
Yes. Yeah. Kofi is taller than Nancy, and Nancy is taller than Adam. Then it must mean that Kofi is taller than Adam. The three statements I've given you are all particular statements. We just revise particular versus general. Kofi is taller. That's the first one. Nancy is taller. Third one, Adam is taller. There is no general statement anywhere in the three statements I've given you. But the conclusion, which we just drew together, what was the conclusion? We started by saying Kofi is taller than Nancy, and Nancy is taller than Adam. Then you can agree with me that then it will mean that Kofi is taller than Adam, necessarily. You can't have it another way. If these two premises were true, it has to follow that Kofi is taller than Adam. Which of the statements we have given is general? None. Yet the reasoning is deductively done. So whether an argument is deductive or inductive has nothing to do with general to particular or particular to general. That's what I'm trying to say, which you should know already. But if you don't know, it's okay. I've helped you remember. Just don't want you to be recalcitrant. Say, tinti. I'm not moving. When the person who is examining you and is pointing to the content, that is not my content, and is showing you evidence, I'm discussing, showing you instances to tell you that you can't do that kind of demarcation, giving you practical illustrations. I'm using practical examples from the lady's hair to Kofi taller than what have you, to show you that that is a wrong categorization. You have talked about what you learned at Access. I don't want to run anybody down. 2 plus 3, it's not the pattern of square root of 625. Addition, subtraction. The pattern is not square root. So I have used that to help you see that it won't work. Use the criteria we have given. Can anyone help us understand the criteria for distinguishing deduction from induction? We are done. And I take the last 2 questions.
Doc, please.
What is the best way of this? Please try, my lady. Go ahead.
Okay, Doc, please. Good morning. Per
Good morning, madam.
Per the deductive argument, it follows patterns or forms, and the inductive depends on the subject matter. So we can say deductive is neutral.
Okay, I'll give it 3.5/5. Someone wants to top up to show us clearly how he or she would distinguish a deductive argument from an inductive one.
In a deductive argument,
Please,
if the
can I
premises
The premises.
We deduct when the premises are true, the conclusion is
must be
necessarily
true.
true.
Whilst the
Very
induction, if the
See how,
premises are true, the
see how
conclusion
people
is
are
not
rapping.
necessary to be.
The sister who is speaking at the far end there got it correct. The other speaker is also speaking. It's a rap. It's like, who is the latest rapper in Ghana now? Yeah, those ones say, my mom home too. Is this Sarkodie or Sark has been overtaken?
Kweku Smoke.
That one, I'm not hearing the name. When it comes to that, I don't know. So my people,
Amrado. He's the latest.
Amrado, are you, Martin?
Yeah, last year he won the rapper of the year.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Yo, but yeah, no argument. The best rapper is my pastor and church. Listen, the condition of I'm still addressing your concern. I know it will help others. That's why I'm still, talking about it. Listen, what makes an argument deductive? And so you can distinguish it from an induction. If you want the litmus test, the paper that or the test that you use to tell whether someone or an argument is deductive or inductive, what should you use? If you want to know whether the sister is pregnant, don't say, if I look at the way your eyes are, maybe she's hungry, or maybe the guy has lap hair, or maybe it's worms. That's why she's vomiting plenty, or she can't eat, or she's sleeping. You can't look at people's eyes again. See, it can give you an indication. Then you go and do the test. The test is either you go if someone is showing signs of what you think is malaria. Why do they insist that please test before you treat people for malaria? It might just be constipation coupled with a worm infestation. No, you are treating malaria. Before long, the person's system cannot fight, cannot receive malaria again because you have given malaria medication for things that are not malaria. So you have one my system need through sort of the system has become throat. Therefore, you test. So often, if you want to know whether it is induction or deduction, we have told you, and I'm helping you remember, and to the class now, ask yourself if the premises were assumed to be true, will it necessarily lead to the conclusion also being true? If you say yes to that, then it is a deduction. If it's a valid deduction at that. If you say no, then it is an induction. Finished. That is the test. Not general to particular or particular to local. I think the point is made. Thank you. And those who answer the chorus answers, I think you all generally got it. Fine. Okay. Innocent, let's take yours and then we are done with you. Please learn that feminine associated and net 6. They are pools. The questions, when I say a pool, several questions around the same level of difficulty in a container for that unit. Then the system randomizes and picks and chooses. So maybe you say, given this, what will be the conclusion for this? Or given this, what is the hidden premise? Or what is the antecedent, if negated this and that? All in the pool. You don't know which one will come to you. I don't know either. No lecturer knows which question goes to who. It's systematized, okay? But if you have done a good review of that unit, then regardless of the question that comes to you, you will make a good showing, and then you get your mark. Innocent, let's take your question and close. Good job.
Hello, madam.
Innocent. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So I don't know. I think my question is about pseudo scientific statement.
Yes, please. You do. Unit 7 now. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to know if it has no or some amount of some degree of falsifiability.
What do you think, class? Is there any degree of falsifiability with pseudoscientific statements? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
No.
Madam.
No. No.
No. No.
Those scientific cannot be
Answer
false.
is no. Yes.
No.
Brian, I mean, what? Wasibedore. Open Tadia. Yadima Bibri.
Oh, madam.
Amen. Amen.
Madam,
Amen. Amen.
Some don't like twins, so you have to be careful. Because the economy.
Especially young warrior.
Oh, that twins is the you. Not 5 million, you say. They are done. But because of the economy, some already have AIDS. If you go and add twins, then you be innocent.
Madam.
Listen, if it's a pseudoscience, this one, I don't want to pick on you. I'm helping you. All these reactions I give, it is to help you know that the thing is doable. 1, 2, that if you cover up a certain few grounds, you ask that question. So it's fine that the question came for you to know where you should go to. If you go to unit 7, you still have some good time to mop up. Let's play it. If you like, play the recording. That one, you are driving, you are sitting in the throttle, your earphone can be on and you'll be listening. Then when you have some time, you can go through the slides to fill in the gaps. Listen, pseudoscientific means the thing cannot be false. Only falsifiability cry. It doesn't have empirical content at all. So you can't verify nor falsify. Which one can we verify? Which type of statement can we verify? I want a cross answer. Particular or general statement, that's what I mean. Which one can we verify?
Particular.
When general statement, we do what? We confirm. Whether universal generalization or statistical generalization, we confirm them. But when you have a pseudo-scientific statement, you can't verify and you can't confirm because it is empty of empirical content. Of innocent, that's the answer. I hope you're fine. Have you shared or let me make sure innocent got it. It's fine. Okay. If you want a little bit more reference or something, to go to the unit 7. If you go to your resource tool now, you see that there's a document labeled recorded 2024 lecture, something. You go through the document there. Click on that. It will open and give you links, clearly labeled. The links are labeled. Unit 1, 2, 3, and 5. We have finished work on that. It did not come in the final exam. If you come and tell me, Doc, I learned connotation, denotation, it didn't come. I will say, we thank God for all the efforts you made at learning. That's happened. Because I didn't tell you well. I've not told anyone to. And the course outline has that information from day 1, regardless of the group you are in. And then the follow-up announcements continue to tell you the same. Miss Remo. So your final exam is on unit 6, 7, 9. Do you know I talk plenty like that for you? I want you to do well. I've said that, sir. Do well, do it by earning it so that your confidence in the university will be built up for the world out there. We don't want you to be passing through and be
Madam, please, the unit again.
Oh, please, I won't tell you that again. It's in the course outline.
Bro, 6, 7, 9, 10.
No, listen to your friends. Oh. Listen to them. They are saying, everyone tell your colleague.
Oh. 6, 7, 9, 10, Oga.
6, 7, 9, 10. It came from your colleague. I'm only re-echoing. Before long, someone will go and say, oh, that last revision session that the lecturer did for them. That is where she told them that is the unit 6, 7, 9, 10. Which is very bad. You know, some of us who didn't go that morning. I mean, how can you call lecture in the morning? So, so I think we are so done. I want to end here. Now, I believe that you should feel very confident. You will answer short answer questions and multiple choice questions. That is what MCQ stands for. M for multiple, C for choice, Q for questions. I've gotten an email asking me that. Even right now as we speak, I've seen one happening. Doc, please, can you explain MCQ? Just say, make sure I'm in theater. Google it. What's a colleague? MCQ, shouldn't you lie? I said the same thing, MCQ. You, when I finish, I will answer.
You can't think back.
Okay. Don't worry. Sometimes the person is under pressure. He wants to talk or he wants to talk with someone. That's all. So when you respond, you know that human beings are on it. They're not telling you. So I respond. Listen. MCQs short within 50 minutes. Yes, sir. I'm done. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know this on the side. I want to know the church and the location. I'll come and do the Thanksgiving there after the exam.
Oh, my church. My church. Oh,
Yes.
And then if I put it on the record, let me stop at the record. It should be unofficial. When you come, I don't know.
Okay.
Hey, who? I'll tell you. Is there any other question? I worship behind the trade fair center there. My church is called Nisi Life Family Church.
Madam,
if you know Zion,
Madam, please,
yes, Chado. Oh, Papa, oh, Chado. Well, you be the guy, man. All these people in
that be my area.
Oh, my brother, then come visit me. Well, you can let me know that I'm your I don't know how to say it. Let me know because I don't know in the congregation. I teach in the town.
Okay.
Chado, okay. So Chado, around the Zion bar, there's a place they sell some fine food there. It's a known brand. So when you ask for Zion, is this Zion hat? Sorry. Is Zion hat?
Zion hat.
Yes, Zion hat. Ask for this. Like my church is the biggest in the area there.
wow.
You see that we have two palms put together praying. As soon as you enter the auditorium, you see that air will flow for you. Post hoc, ergo propter hoc. Anyways, I'm done. Thank you.
Concomitant.
Variation. Braunia area, if the brother gets the A, but the way you use the word, my platform said,
Wallahi talai, wallahi talai.
I see people talking about equivocation and don't be ambiguous and
wallahi. Big.
Wish you well. I'm praying for everyone of all groups. God help you to excel in this course and all that.
Amen.
Amen.
God bless you, Doc.
Amen.
God bless you. God bless you so much. We are so grateful for your time and your sacrifices for us.
God bless you.
I'm really grateful. We appreciate it.
Oh, well, I don't. That job.
Dog, oh,
You do all of it. Hey, come in.
Dog, no wonder you are a reverend minister.
It's small.
God bless you.